Hi there, just got back. 3.5 days of hiking with the goal of getting to Eastbourne, but I decided to go the back roads, so I go through woodland areas, etc, etc. Probably a bad mistake. I'm not as fit as I used to be. My feet really started to kill me after a good 4-hour walk and all that. So I ended up pitching camps because it got dark early as well, around 4:30, 5 o'clock. So I started pitching camps up around between 2 and 3, 2, 3 and 4, depending how far I got, and also depending upon where it looked like a good place to sort of like hide away. So yeah, if I'd have stuck to the A22 straight down, I probably would have made it to Eastbourne. But then again, I wouldn't have seen some of the beautiful countryside we have, and some of the good little areas you can do a little bit of wild camping in. And trust me, there's loads of it. So yeah, I just wanted to catch up on the review of all the equipment I bought for this sort of like trip and for the future trips. Well, number one, this bloody tripod I'm using, don't buy it. If it's from China or wherever, it's cheap plastic, bits of it kept snapping off and all that sort of thing. It's okay, but it's certainly not worth the 14 quid I paid for it. The Motez hiking trolley, yeah, all in all, I'm still pretty happy with it. You know, I'm carrying about 30 kilos of gear in my bag there, the Eurohike 90. The bag itself is brilliant. I can't get the shoulder harnesses to work, but nevertheless, it's waterproof. It was ideal for my needs. Let me see now, what else? Of course, my trusty little headlamp, that was a godsend. Let me just go and get... Right, this was bought for my trip to the Philippines. Solar power charger. Fucking naff, it didn't work in the Philippines, it didn't work here. You've got to charge it up first, and the solar power just cuts out, doesn't... This is about 26-30 quid I paid for this. I don't know if you can have a good look at it. It's a load of wank. It's a waste of money, this is. You could buy... a lot better for half the price, and you know, for what it is. Now my MPS 2300 though, yeah, it charged up my tablet, my 2 mobile phones, brilliant, and it's still got 50% power on it, and the solar, and it was charging all day when I left it out on the back of my pack. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this, although I'm still sort of upset that it's not powering my laptop. I may have to go down to a 12-volt laptop, get a 12-volt laptop to make this really truly functional. But nevertheless, I'm relatively happy with this. 8 out of 10, I think I'll give it. 90 quid though. Yeah, but so far I'm happy, so I'm not gonna knock it any further. What else did I take with me? Oh yeah, nothing in there, that was all the old stuff. Now, I got my Eurohike Adventurer 200 sleeping bag. Fits me perfectly. You have to think about that. And when I wrapped it, it got totally all snug as a bug in the rug. But the last few nights it was frosty, it went below freezing. There was frost in the morning and it got really cold at night. It's rated for -1, but I really felt the cold, and this is probably a spring, summer, autumn gear. It certainly won't be able to handle, doesn't really handle the sub-zero temperatures. I mean, my feet were the ones that had the biggest problem, but that was an easy fix. I got my jacket, you know, zipped it all up, and then add it on as an extra foot sleeve, foot warmer as well. Put my foot in the sleeves. It worked out okay. So generally for the price though, yeah, that's a good piece of kit. It's not too big, not too heavy. This tent, again, it's just a 2-man pop-up, built-in ground sheet. I brought that from the Philippines. Easy to put up, very, very useful. It's been with me for a while, so I'm happy with that. Oh, my Summit flask. Again, holds about 3 mugs of coffee, and it stays warm for a good 12 to 15 hours, I suppose. Yeah, I mean I filled it up in the morning, and this morning actually, this very morning, I poured it out. It was a little bit, it wasn't warm, but it wasn't cold, so I just poured it out put it on the fire this morning and finished off the coffee. So it was pretty good, so I'm very happy with that. Now my tarpaulins, I've only used one. I used the rest of them for extra ground sheets, but this weather has taught me one thing, and also sleeping on some of these rough grounds, you know, an airbed. I'm going to buy an airbed. I think it makes a little bit more sense, and you can get my tent is about 6 foot something, so it's, yeah, it'll fit a single airbed will be in there, and it'll save me a lot of hassle in terms of aching backs and everything else. My little kettle, yeah, perfect, lovely job, works well. And this little stainless steel cookware, again, it's pretty basic. It does one meal, you know, it just does just one thing, you know. That's supposed to be a frying pan, and everything else, it's got the little handle to it. Yeah, and I like stainless steel. I always prefer stainless steel because, you know, cleaning it is a doddle. Bit of steel, a little bit of water, a bit of steel will bang. You got it sorted. You know, you got clean equipment again. Yeah, so I'm happy with the stainless steel thing. Obviously, if you're camping with loads of friends and all that, you're not going to cook a 3-course meal with it. You know. Oh, I never got to use my windbreaker cum oven thing, but that looks pretty bog standard as well. I never got to use the water filter. A lot of the water I've came across wasn't moving. It was really brackish and everything else. There were a couple of, I could have gone, you know, jumped over the fence and gone to the River Medway and a couple of smaller streams, but in the end I had people giving me water and everything else, so it wasn't an issue. And of course, oh yeah, again my petroleum jelly cotton wool fire starters, absolutely perfect. Yeah, I mean, when you're in a hurry, wet, when everything's damp around you, and trust me, the last few days everything was damp. Even some of the dead standing was damp, you know, had moss on it growing. I suppose I could have looked a little bit further, a little bit better, but my tent poles, or tarpaulin poles, yeah. Okay, they do weigh a bit, but apart from that, I did a quick, when it started to hail and rain and hail and the wind picked up a bit, I'd never actually used them. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But when it was raining and everything else, when pitching my tent and everything, getting the tarps up was a doddle, especially with those things. You get the tarp up and you camouflage yourself, because I got camouflage ones. Yeah, you can hide yourself pretty well. You hide your tent and all that. They're pretty useful, especially if you don't have time to start chopping down bits of wood to act as tent poles and all that, or the trees aren't. If you got to a place where there's not too many tree cover, so your guy ropes are not too long. So yeah, I think that's something essential kit I'm going to bring. What else? My Gerber axe. Yeah, the one I only used it once, and it was perfect. Oh yeah, I mean, I chopped down a couple of big logs, about 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches. Donald went through them very, very quickly, and the built-in saw, excellent. Yeah, just made short work of everything. Yeah, so yeah, I'm very, very pleased with the Gerber axe. It's the Gerber Gator 2. Yeah, I can't pardon me, can't fault it. So that's going to be essential kit. That's basically it. So the only major criticism is the of all my kit. There was the tripod I bought, and the motors, and the slight thing on the solar power pack. That's all. Apart from that, I had 3.5 days hiking around the south of England. I'll post up my route and everything else, and some of the places where I stayed. There's some pictures on my Facebook page, but it'll all go on YouTube anyway. And I'm not going to be travelling over the next week, 2 weeks. The weather forecast is for sub-zero temperatures in the evening, so I'm going to wait until the best time to start doing this again will probably be in March. I'll do another couple of small trips, and then I'm going to hopefully head on to do the South Coastal route, which will be interesting. I might not be able to do 20-30 miles a day, but if I do 10 miles a day, then that's good. At least I'll be on the coastline, and I hope to try out some of my other bits and pieces. Oh, which reminded me, other bits and pieces. I did have a compass with me, which was interesting. It reminds me of my old orienteering days. I knew I was generally heading south. Google Maps is great, and I didn't realise at first. The Google Maps is a useful piece of equipment. The thing is, it doesn't tell you where the hills are until I realised there's a little setting on it saying show terrain. And now I know which routes I could have avoided some bloody great steep hills, So that was good. Of course, fire rods, you can't really go wrong with them. It came with this, I know it's a little lock knife, and I've been using that to basically cut my garlic sausage up. My Halter 4 knife was also very, very good. When I was trying to do some, small chopping through smaller logs and everything else, doggle is a piece of cake. So yeah, that was a good investment and everything else. The only extra things I managed to buy, because I kept losing nuts on the motors, I had to stop off in Wickes and buy a bag of nuts, and I bought an adjustable spanner as well. I think that will be part of my essential kit as well. I've got some pliers just in case you need them. I don't know why. I thought that I could use it for tools, but I might have to ditch them. But either way, yeah, everything seems to be a-okay. Right, I'm back. I'm going to finish my cigarette, finish my coffee. I am very ripe at the moment. I haven't taken this lot off. There are 2 t-shirts and this sweatshirt for 3 days. So I'm a little bit ripe. I've got a bath running. I'm going to go and relax now. Fill it up with some Epsom salts, I think. My feet are killing me. Catch you all later.